millions of dollars. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're moving generations. That's what my specialty is. I wrote a book about Generation Y and traveled around the world to 42 countries, basically talking about that and building network marketing as well. And really making sure that companies in our industry understood how powerful and how big this generation is. So just to be clear, this is not a company just for Generation Y, it's for all ages to cash in on this next boom, right? Who's Generation Y? They're called by many of the new baby boomers, the echo boomers, the millennials, because they witnessed the millennium. They are the children of the baby boomers, and they're born between 1977 and 1994. They're currently the largest demographic in the world. So the children of the baby boomers that started today's most major direct selling companies. So the baby boomers actually, our parents started Amway and Herbalife and Mary Kay and Avon, these multi-billion-dollar, what I call old school companies. They get respect, of course, but you know, those companies are not being joined by the next generation. And I feel if we unite all generations together in one company, we could create the first $20 billion company, which I'll get to in a second. And we're paying out 50% of that to our people. So that's pretty, it's going to be pretty huge for, but children, baby boomers that started today's most direct selling companies, so they're connected. 84 million in the US, that's 6 million more than the baby boomer parents. All these stats, by the way, are backed up, and I'll show you where they're coming from, but 50% of China's current workforce are over 600 million of a Generation Y population. 600 million, that's twice the size of the United States. They're 20 to 34-year-olds, and they're all on, social media. Over 500 million, half a billion, half the India's population is Generation Y, and they're on Facebook.
And in Sugar Land.
No, but here's the thing.
A lot of them in Sugar
No,
Land.
but check it out. Like, most American companies are marketing to the baby boomers, anti-aging, anti-wrinkle, make you feel young and lose weight and all this other stuff, which is great. It works. But they try to go over to India, a country that I know very well with my friends over there, and they try to go market to these young people because they don't realize that their parents, the baby boomers over there, they're so traditional and stuck in their ways, they don't even speak English. And they're not going to, there's all my friends over there that laugh at American companies that go over there because they try to, first of all, they don't know I know a billion-dollar company, I won't name who they are, but I heard they're laughing because millions of dollars, their product was stuck on the border. You can't get in because they didn't have the right friends there, they didn't understand the culture, and you understand we could create a multi-billion-dollar company just in India alone if we understand the demographics with this product, because they like American stuff. I mean, they want to go to Hollywood, they want to hang out with the American young people, American girls, American guys, they're all just all about American stuff. But we have the opportunity, we're going to go, like Michael talked about international, that's a big opportunity. We're going to start here and then go over there. And I believe we'll build a bigger business in India than all of the other countries in the world combined. Think about it, 500 million. China's stricter on their industry because there's only, but I have a friend there too who's good friends with the government there. That's my last consulting job. I helped create an energy drink for them. That's how I met the guy, from a big $2 billion company that creates like Sobe and Lay's and Capri Sun. When I called him, I had clout because, he said, oh yeah, I met you with that billionaire from China. You were creative. So when I called him, I said, I have some stuff in my sleeve. I have what I think is the energy drink of the future blend, make it glow. He was like, all right. So they got behind it. It's a $2 billion company out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They have hundreds of thousands of square feet. Anything you think of on the store shelves, they make the flavors for it. It's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You go there, it's crazy. But for 10 months, 20 scientists, about $1 million in man hours, they've invested in us to create a success story, to create our goal was the future of energy drinks and the healthiest energy drink in the world. And by the way, every other product we decided to come out with, which is exciting. But I'm just excited about this portion because there's about 2 billion people that are untapped in this industry. Like there's tapped maybe a little bit in some companies, but they just don't get it. And that was my whole specialty of the whole industry, this industry, just a $120 billion industry worldwide. I was the only guy that specialized in Generation Y. So that's why I had to create the company, because Michael was on the same wavelength too. Like he's like, gosh, if I, it's got to be hot. He's always changing companies. I was always changing companies because I knew the sheer size. All the Fortune 500 companies, with these big buildings, they all were started by supplying the baby boomers with products they needed. Now those baby boomers had sons and daughters, and had more of them on average. And our industry is so stuck in that baby boomer realm that they're forgetting about this next wave. So this is a huge opportunity, making money off of generations. This is the biggest thing we can do. So the biggest influence of baby boomer buying decisions. So baby boomers will actually talk to their sons and daughters and ask them, what phone should I buy? What computer should I buy? So companies are actually marketing, like Disney, for example, has been marketing to young people forever to teach them how to market to the parents. And the parents will spend more on their son. The wealth is still in the baby boomers' hands, most of it, but they're more concerned about their son and daughter's success than they are about themselves, which is an instinct, a human instinct to protect the young, right? Which is very honorable, but that's where the opportunity is, because we're going to have a huge shift of money, and it has to be based on helping their people. Like they're paying billions to the college industry right now, and the problem is there's not enough jobs to meet the college degrees. 6.5 million young people in their 20s move back home with their parents after getting $40,000 in debt on average. The biggest demand right now is supplying them with opportunity, so they can't get a job. The next best thing is give them a home-based business and give them products they can represent and believe in. So if you get the Generation Y people, you get the money, the baby boomers' money, which is most of the wealth in America. So don't take my word for it. What's the media saying about Generation Y? Generation Y sits on top of the consumer food chain. It's USA Today. So that quote came from Bloomberg Business Week, about 50% of China's current workforce. Direct Selling News, the top news article in our industry, said now is the time for Generation Y and direct selling. I don't know why they said that now. I told them that 8 years ago. So, young with tons of purchasing power, Gen Y, 82 million of them, influence family buying decisions. This was like an article from like 5 years ago, so that $200 billion market has gone up substantially. This is the big one. Generation Y is to exceed baby boomer spending power by 2017. That's about only 5 years from now. I mean, now it's only, I guess that's
4 years.
it's only 4 years from now. Yeah. I wrote this last year, preparing for this company. So that basically just goes over the same quote we just mentioned. First mover advantage. Right now, there's an opportunity for the first company in the industry to really successfully launch the first unisex brand, which we'll get to in a second, and move a whole generation into this profession. And I believe Alteria's Gen Y brand Canada will be the first, and it's going to get the baby boomers in Generation X to cash in on it. But you guys are your Generation X, you guys are going to cash in on a generation. You guys have more experience than that generation does. You guys have more money, you guys got more know-how. So I'm saying you guys might have a bigger network because you've been around for a lot longer. Not a lot longer, but longer. Yeah. But what I'm saying is you guys have an advantage because you can position yourself in front of them, and they need leaders to follow.
Sure.
And naturally, we always follow people that are in the generation above us. So it's a bigger opportunity for your generation, Generation X, than it is for Gen Y, basically. So financially. Here's the actual numbers from AARP and the Census Bureau. So these are like very, very accurate statistics. So if you look right here, in August 2009, there were approximately 310 million, give or take, in the United States. The two demographics are Generation Y and baby boomers. Generation Y was 83.9 million, which represents about 27.6% of the population. And baby boomers represent about 25.7% of the population, and that's about 78 million. So the difference there is about 6 million in North America. Now, Canada is pretty, this is surprising, but baby boomers are still a bit higher. But let's combine, about about 700,000, 700,000 more in Canada. But let's combine both of these demographics in North America to make up some numbers here. So this is what most direct selling companies do. They target this guy, the dad and the mom. And they give them anti-aging products You know, how to look younger, feel better,
Joints.
yeah, glucose, you know, you name it. So that represents, now they're targeting, very wisely, a total North American population of 87 million. You know, let's just round off here, about 87 million people. This is the available market share that this represents for going after current baby boomer brand. So that's still a huge market, right? But one thing they forgot is that this dad has this daughter, probably a son in the house too, and he cares more about her than he does about himself and his anti-aging. He actually feels younger being around her
Sure.
than he does taking any pill.
Sure.
Right? You get that? This is human instincts we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Now, so what we do is we focus on, this is a Generation Y brand, which most companies ignore, like Michael was talking about. That's targeting a total North American population of 92 million people. And they're still going after the 87 million. It's still smart. That's saturated though. And they're forgetting all about the sons and daughters. This represents the available market share with the Generation Y program. Now, I'm not saying just go all after Generation Y. I'm saying have this generation with 1 degree of separation, their family, bring together, Generation X, bring together these two generations together and see what happens. So now you're targeting a total combined population of 180 million people. Just by creating a brand that can meet dad and daughter, mom and son. What does that do? It increases the available market share 106% immediately. Most companies are not doing this. Organogold is not doing this. The other companies aren't doing this. They're great companies, but their branding, their packaging, their whole delivery systems, their marketing, their apps are not at a situation where it's all demographics coming together. It's not at that point. So here's a major example. The largest direct selling and marketing company in the world, you guys know who that is? It's Avon, yeah. So the revenues are approaching $12 billion a year. There's over 5 million distributors worldwide. They operate in over 137 countries. They created the most successful direct selling brand name launch in history. That's a little clue there. So here's what happened. The year was 2004. The annual sales at the beginning of 2004 was $5 billion. Annual sales at the end of 2004 was $8 billion. But for some reason, they were stuck at this number for 100 years. They were stuck. They were stagnant. They're like, why can't we get over this $5 billion mark? Why can't we get over this mark? Well, all of a sudden, what happened? $8 billion, and you know, took over 100 years to get to $5 billion in 1 year. 1 year to get to 8. It's a $3 billion increase in 1 year. So what happened? Why?
They marketed to Generation Y.
Yeah, exactly. So they created the Mark program. They didn't change Avon, but they created an additional brand. Like most hotels, they have different brands. Like Starwood has the W Hotel, and then they also have the Sheraton and the Westin, right?
Yeah.
So why are they doing that? Because they're creating a brand for each demographic. Very wise.
That's right.
Why doesn't companies in our industry do this?
That's good. That's good.
Right?
Makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So they created the Mark program. What they did is they said, because all the mothers, they had 5 million moms saying, hey, my daughters, I try to sell it to them, but they won't take it. So they created a 70-person focus group of young women and said, what do you want? So they created a sexy brand that looks hot and new and fresh. So how do we model the most successful direct selling brand in the world? Well, Andrew Young was responsible for this. She's the chairman and chief executive officer of Avon Products. So after she did this, she got called by Steve Jobs. Said, that is so impressive because I'm creating a Generation Y product too. Then I know that if I get the Generation Y people, they'll get their parents. And that's why the iPhone now is number one selling, number one volume in phones in the world. And if you think about it, Andrew Young was the person that came in and did this, but he called her and said, hey, can you help me lead the board of Apple Computers? So this was an article about Andrew Young. To become the global powerhouse that Young envisioned, Avon needed to entice younger customers while still retaining middle-aged buyers. One of the only 2 women CEOs in a Fortune 500 company. She's the highest-ranking Chinese American in corporate America. Avon's first female CEO. It's kind of strange to notice this female company, and the largest lasting female CEO in the Fortune 500. After 3 years at the company's helm, Young envisioned to manage and retain core customers and sales reps while still reaching out to a new generation of buyers and sellers. Young today leads the world's largest direct selling companies in operation with sales on over $11 billion and presence in over 137 countries. CNN.com, Money, and Fortune magazine both said that valued at more than $153 billion. Now it's way up there. This is statistic.
Aren't they supposed to be like going to be the first
Trillion
$1 trillion
yeah.
company?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This was a stat that I pulled out the internet like a year and a half ago. So look how much they've grown. So it overtook the Google on the strength of the iPhone and the iPad. So I was flying over to Hong Kong in 2007, and I was sitting next to this guy in business class, and he's a guy my age, and we're looking at each other like, how the heck can you afford to sit up in this seat, you know? Because these seats are like, $10,000, international seats, And he's asking what I did, so I said, oh, I'm writing a book about Generation Y. And I said, what do you do? He's like, oh, I work for a big company here in Silicon Valley who's, it's interesting because my boss is all about Generation Y, and we're actually creating the product that's totally targeted Generation Y. And it's only 12 guys, and he only allow 12 people that are in Generation Y to create that product because they have a fresh new mindset. But he's got older people that have more experience running the company. It's a perfect balance. I said, who's your boss? He said, Steve Jobs. So which product are you creating? He said, the iPhone. So tell me about it. Tell me about it. This was back right before it came out. He's like, oh no, I can't tell you about it. But I can tell you that he won't allow any, like what Michael was talking about, any 65-year-old CEOs, and I'm not discriminating, I respect my elders, but what I'm telling you is that we all grew up with a sponge that soaked up a certain type of juice. We all grew up as sponges, and whatever we soak up is what sometimes stays on our sponge for life.
Sure.
So we got to make sure that we focus on, if we're going to create something new and futuristic, we got to have people leading that new brand, that new product, that have a new mindset, new paradigm, but also have a balance of people who have experience. So that's what we've done, and that's what Apple did. So we basically want to become the Apple of the industry, or the iPhone of energy drinks, and any other products that we come out with. So they became the world's most valuable brand with products targeted Generation Y. And the CEO of an MLM network marketing company is now the primary leader of the board of directors and the most valuable company in the world. Now that's a clue of where our trend is going. People are going, they don't trust the job market anymore. They want a different alternative of making money. So you have the leader of the largest one in the industry leading the largest company in the world. So I mean, there's something going on there. In fact, when I was looking at the affiliate program for Apple computers, they said, what industry are you in? And they actually listed network marketing as an industry you can choose, which is pretty impressive. So, the Generation Y program, this is what Avon did. They created the Mark program that was targeted to female Generation Y marketers, right? So, Altaria is going to create products like Neon and 21st Century products that cater to both men and women. So, this is a $12 billion company. So, what happens when they're just marketing towards women and get to $12 billion? Baby boomers and Generation Y. What if we market to baby boomers, Generation Y, bring generations together and market to both sexes? Now we create the first unisex network marketing brand in history that's targeted to both demographics successfully. And that's an immediate 100% available market share increase just by opening up to guys. Letting them come in. Because there's not a lot of guys that want to join, of course, Avon, because it's a woman company. But it's a great company. So introducing Neon Energy and Altaria, that's our first product. And this is exciting. So the largest demand in the world. Now Business 101 dictates supply and demand, right? I mean that's like the 101, right?
Sure.
So if you have a million people in the desert, they're gonna want what? Water. So if you're the first person to supply those million people with water, you're gonna do really well. So population dictates demand on every level. So the larger the population, larger the demand is. The larger the demographic, the larger amount of products and services are demanded. The largest current demographic in the world is Generation Y. Generation Y dictates the largest demand and their parents' spending power. What do they need more than ever in this economy?
Money.
Yeah, and really what it is, the foundation of money is opportunity and hope. They're really looking for is opportunity.
Sure.
You got the largest generation in the world needing, not just wanting, but needing and wanting opportunity.
Yeah.
That's the largest demand.
Yeah.
So what's the largest current demand? The largest demand in the world is supplying Generation Y with an innovative network marketing company. Think about it. The largest generation wants an iPhone, but they can't necessarily afford to buy one. You know, so that, you know, but they want a better life, but they can't necessarily afford it because they can't get a job. And their parents want it too because they just spend a lot of money on college and they don't have an opportunity to use their college degree. So think about that. So if they can't get a job, what else can they do? They got to sell something. So you're going to sell something illegal or you're going to sell something legal. And we got a legal drug, everybody. You know. And it is. It makes people say, it makes me feel euphoric, it makes me feel good, but it's amazing what the body can do if you just give it the proper ingredients, right? And this is a drug. Right? Caffeine is a drug. But this is a natural derived caffeine from green tea, which has so many health benefits. I could name, go for on and on talking about how many health benefits are in this drink. Every single ingredient has a health benefit. So you also have to have a product they're all going to want too. Otherwise they ain't going to represent it.
Sure.
Altaria plans to meet the largest demand in the world. In the world. Think about it. So if Avon is a $12 billion company just marketing to women, they did $3 billion in 1 year just on Generation Y brand. We could do $6 billion over a period of time with this brand. And then we could become the first $20 billion company in the industry. And we're going to pay 50% of our profits out to the top leaders that decided to go after this in the beginning. So it's not small cookies.
How'd you meet this guy?
Hey man, what they call it, the law of attraction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The fastest growing and most innovative segment in the drinks market right now is the global energy drinks market is expected to reach $52 billion by 2016. More than 40 billion of which are recorded in 2010, and most of this is being done in the United States, which is over 37%. But it's expected to grow 3% every year, and it's about $30 billion in increase in the next 3 years. I mean, this is basically a statistic that shows that. So, the largest coffee company in the world decides to do what? This is part of the trends. They entered the energy drink market.
It sucks.
You tried it?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, you know, they don't specialize in energy drinks.
No, they suck.
So, in fact, we cannot deny again the direct selling news of, you know, their front page about Generation Y. I said, gosh, you should have listened to me 8 years ago. Generation Y golden rule. It has to look good. Number one, it has to be really cool and sexy. Otherwise, they're not even going to pick it up off the shelf.
That's right.
Number two, it's got to smell and taste good, because if they don't, you know, they don't like the taste or smell, they're not going to want it. It has to make you feel good. But you know, our parents' generation will say, well, crap, it doesn't make me look, you know, it doesn't look good, it doesn't taste or smell good. As long as it makes you feel good, I'll buy it. But this new generation, they won't have anything less than Hollywood. You know,
Yeah.
has to meet luxury blend and low standards, something that they can post on their Facebook and it'll make them look cooler.
Yeah.
This is why we're going to blow all the other competition away, because they don't have products that look this cool. So we're going to cultivate the next generation of direct sellers and empower millennials via technology, social purpose, and opportunities for young men and young women is a key to our industry success. So it's a dynamic product and it gives you a really good feeling. So that's introducing the energy drink, the future of energy drinks, and every other product we come out with. So, you know, when an in-demand product is paired with a powerful yet simple business model, the result is energy for everyone, safe glycemic low levels, low calories, and contains green tea, prickly pear, gotu kola, and passion fruit, and has over 30 health benefits. Over 30, which is pretty incredible. What our great graphic artist has created is from the outside in. It's got great branding. So our global debit card we created. We partnered up with Bank of America. They decided to sponsor this effort of leading generations to the 21st century and giving every one of our direct sellers a custom-made Bank of America Money Network Altaria Black Card. And I tell everybody the limit is up to you. So.
That's huge right there.
That is.
So our mission is to help millions of young adults succeed in the 21st century. Lead them with the right mentors, which is the elder generations. Supply them with great and healthy products. Attract them with great brands they love. Train them to be ethical, responsible entrepreneurs. Give them hope for the future and change the world. We recorded this and like send it out to everybody.
Oh, cool. You recorded the whole.
Yeah, then we're gonna take that. I'm gonna send it to a video artist to make like an actual interactive presentation.
Okay.
But basically, this explains how we can become one of the largest companies in the world, and that's what it's all about. And like you guys are sitting right here, and like I'm not doing this alone. You know, you got a $2 billion food company here in Cincinnati. You got one of the biggest banks in the world giving out our debit cards. You got Bob Graham, an NFL superstar, 2-time NFL All-Pro wide receiver, as our chairman. He was in the Anheuser-Busch business for 25 years, so he knows beverages. He knows operations. I know Generation Y better in this industry than anybody else because I don't really have any competition. But you know, that's what I really focus on. I know international markets. That's all I did was for 10 years is travel all around the world and meet the top leaders of Generation Y to help get prepared for this movement. We got incredible staff that's been in the energy drink business before, in this industry. So a couple of them came from a company who had a similar product, not even close, of course, but you know, had a similar product that was healthy in a can, and it did a few $100 million in the first 3 years, and we've already grown 2 times faster than they did in their first month. So, I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, and I don't want to compare ourselves to them because it's totally different, but we got a great staff. We got about 16,000 square feet of office space and warehouse space in Bend alone, in Oregon. We got another fulfillment center we just got live, it's going live tomorrow in Tennessee, in Memphis. We're talking about Memphis Grizzlies, you know. Memphis is because it's right next to FedEx. That'll increase the shipping time to Texas.
Oh, cool.
In half, and shipping costs.
Yeah.
So that was a huge advancement for us. We already did that in our first 3 weeks. So that's
good.
we're really setting up here, guys, and I think that some serious stuff's going on in this company, and I think that this Texas is probably the biggest. Texas and Florida, and California is probably the 3 biggest states in all of network marketing and direct selling in the United States. So focusing on the Texas market right now is basically, it's like the foothold in the very beginning. I mean, just being in this market with Michael and all these people in this area are so involved in our industry and our profession. If we target this right now and go after it big time, I mean, you're going to put your foothold. It's funny, one of my John's good friends, dad, never done direct selling before, but he was so upset because his wife had a chance to get into Arbonne when I first started.
Oh, okay.
And he was so mad at her because she, you know, they was making like almost 6 figures. You know, that same position was almost making 6 figures. You know, because they didn't, you know, the first to act on it. And of course, our app, which I'm going to show you now, is basically revolutionizing the whole industry. So it's not just the product, but it's the technology. Every single thing that was hard, all my research in 10 years to innovate the industry is put into one app. I was just in Beverly Hills, the company's making it, and they've done. I mean, it is incredible. Every single thing you can think of, connecting people through Facebook, a whole map around the country, where you can see where all the other people are. It actually gives you turn-by-turn directions where the people are at, shows you who's RSVPing at the party at Facebook, posts on their wall, goes viral, you know, and automatically pre-signs everybody out that goes to the party, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, man, this is crazy. This is a phone app.
That's just like the preview.
Yeah. Basically runs your whole business from your phone. Place your order from your phone for people. Different packages. Neon party. There's where the location is.
And it's gotten better even since this design.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Shows your local party for your SBs. I've seen other apps. I mean, the only app I've seen that was pretty good was the Vima, the Verb app.
Yeah, but they didn't. That's just like to track your progress.
Exactly. That's
Ours is designed to follow up with your people for you. Like, let's say for example, everybody has a party. People like automatically download the app, automatically enters them into a contest, into going to like Cancun or whatever. They have to keep the app on their phone, otherwise they won't get the notification if they won or not. But it's really cool. And then all of a sudden, they can sign up one click through Facebook, which no one has really.
Mm.
And the phone will automatically follow up with your prospects for you, letting them know that they haven't finished the sign-up process yet.
Mm. That's crazy.
It's crazy. That's just one of the few things, but it's basically going to automate your whole business for you. Everything that was like hard to do in the past, or someone forgot to do, this does for you. So I got like 100 more ideas to put in this thing.
So when will that be available?
It's pretty much already, the wireframe's already built. So it's going to be in the next 30 or 60 days. But this is the opportunity to get them forward and get as many people into the business as possible, because by the time we roll this out, you'll have a whole team that's first equipped in the whole country. I mean, the first 3 weeks we have already been in 30 states. And I mean, you guys are like the very first really leaders in Houston. Which I think Houston and Dallas are probably the largest cities in LA. Probably Chicago and Miami and Orlando are probably the biggest cities in direct selling in New York. But the biggest cities in this industry. You guys have this is the right place, literally, geographically, at the right time. Because you got a lot of people here, especially in the African American market, that are in a different company with a product that gives you energy, but doesn't even come close to, and if you go after, if we talk to those leaders that have sons and daughters, those sons and daughters aren't joining their company. But if we help them get their sons and daughters excited, that'll get their parents over too.
Yeah, because it's cooler to walk around with the Starbucks coffee, mug than put some organic gold in your stuff. You know what I mean? That's cool walking around with Starbucks.
And this is a lot cooler walking around in Red Bull.
Yeah,
it's just cooler. Neon.
No, it is a cool can.
I'm walking around with a glowing can. I mean, this is the only can that we know of that has glow-in-the-dark ink. This part goes under black light, and so does this, and so does the liquid, which we can show you here. By the way, the ingredient.
Get this one that's cold.
The ingredient that makes it glow is actually healthy for you.
Really?
Yeah. Do you have some in yours?
I still got some. Here, yeah.
It's really good, man.
I don't know how you do.
Passion fruit blend. Love it.
That's the first thing you say is the passion fruit.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Okay.
Wow. The kids are gonna love that.
The club.
Oh my goodness.
See how cool the can goes?
Wow.
See how this part doesn't go, but see that part?
Wow.
So our socials that we have, we're going to be at a lot of black lights and stuff, and we'll have like a black lit room and stuff. And I was looking for some black light ice cubes. I can't find any.
We found some, but the ones we bought, the float, and I didn't like how they floated, so we got.
Really? You found them?
Yeah, they were floating though, and I wanted to make them sink, Like
okay.
So they all were coming up to the top.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like Avatar was the #1 selling movie of all time because of that imagination type of a product, And whenever you put someone in the right brain instead of the left brain, they're thinking about imagination and not skepticism. If you show someone like a product, most companies in our industry, they have like these products that people don't, that they don't relate with. They're like alien.
Great product.
Great product.
Great product, life-changing products, but it's just not exciting enough to make people move,
Or put them in their imagination. It's like, oh, I don't know, this is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of different. But if you show them a can, it's got instant credibility, right? Because everybody's used to a can. Right, but if you blow their mind and make it like Avatar, they're like, oh my goodness, it's like I trust it, and I'm just, this is so cool. And you put them in their imagination, they start thinking about all their friends they could show this to, and when they leave the houses, they'll actually call their buddies and say, "Hey, I just saw a drink that glows in the dark."
Dude, do you know how
You know?
to use that be at a rave party? I've never been to a rave
No,
party.
I know,
But
yeah.
everything
Oh.
glows.
But you know, Tony Shea, the founder of Zappos, used to go to raves all the time.
Oh yeah.
Really.
He used to have raves in his condo. He used to sleep all his employees in.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think I saw that on
And he sold Zappos for like $1 billion. But you know, we're not like we don't ever plan to like I never will sell this company because it's not about that for me. It's about like making a mark on the world and making like changing generations. You know, I don't need like what do you know? You get paid all this money. What are you gonna do? What next? You know, it's not what drives me. What drives me is like really building like changing the world and creating a. You know, what's our Wikipedia page is going to say about all us leaders in the company when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
They were the people that helped lead the 21st century economy. You know.
Yeah.
Where'd you find this guy?
Hey, bro, it's crazy. Man.
All right, well, let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's get to the nitty gritty, man. What do you do?
Well, I mean, our system. Oh, by the way, Jerry Clark, one of the top trainers in the industry, just came on board. He's
I had all the CDs.
yeah, he is like the funniest. He calls himself Jerry D. Rhino Clark. He's funny, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my first mentors, but he lives in Dallas. Incredible speaker. Everybody knows
Oh,
him.
he lives in Dallas?
Yeah.
What part of Dallas? What part?
He lives up in Plano.
You've heard of him, huh?
Huh?
Jerry Carr? Have you
I
heard
have
of D.
heard.
Rhino? I know you listen to a lot of sales stuff.
Right.
But yeah, man. Really, to answer your question, the first step is really to pick a package and get your system. It's automatic, and then get your site, get your neon ordered, and then we're gonna ship it. Your product from probably the first ones out of the Tennessee Film Center tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And then what we're gonna do too, we're planning a neon launch party here at the house. You know how I had my birthday party with the tables outside and stuff?
Yeah.
And then what we're gonna do here is put a whole bunch. Well, the party will be inside and outside, but we'll have this room just all black light, so people can come upstairs and experience the drink. You know what I mean, and everything like that. And then we'll have maybe a 15-20 minute presentation on the business opportunity. You know, but I mean, as you can hear from what Dakota's saying, I mean, you can just sincerely, you know, me being in this business, I've been in front of many rooms telling people that, you know, this could be a company, this is an industry where your children can, you know, blah, blah, blah. In the back of my mind, I'm like, well, maybe this company may not be here today. You know what I'm saying? You know, but,
Blowing
this,
smoke.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, not, I mean,
I know.
you want to believe it, you know what I mean? But you know what's going on in the background with the company. You know, it's like, and they just don't have everything together. But this is the first company I can really sit back and say that I can see Layla and Nico, you know, taking over my position in this company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of him being so young and his vision that he has, it's so now that all it can do is just keep growing into what we're, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I have 14 teenagers. Trust me, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, and if you want to, like, this is about building a future for them, and that's our whole mission in the company. And you got Bob Graham, a guy that was retired, doesn't need the money, you know, Anheuser-Busch guy, and an NFL pro, like in his 60s. And the only reason he's coming in this because of his daughter is in, you know, Generation X, and she's one of our top leaders in the company. So I mean, already in the first 3 weeks. So people will die for a cause, but they'll work for money. You know what I'm saying? So think about what, like, I mean, whether you voted for him or not, but Obama led his whole campaign on hope and, you know, the one message, right? But there's only so much the government can do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't get David started.
Oh,
You know, but that's what I'm saying. But it's not about.
I've seen your Facebook.
No, but it's alright, man. But what the point is that the country is we the people.
Bartender.
You know, this country's about we the people, and if we really want change, we got to make it happen as people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's all about. We got to go out but we got to have companies like this. Otherwise, if we don't have the vehicles, there's no way we can offer the opportunity. But if we lead this movement, it'll help everyone. It'll help the people. It'll help it'll help the government. It'll help everybody. You know, so it'll help the 21st century concept. I mean, this is what our country's supposed to be. You know, it is opportunity for all, right? And we have to create a company that all generations can actually get behind and can actually do something, and not that worry about getting hired or not. You know.
My wife and my mom, I mean, they've been kind of worried about me the past, 3-4 weeks. And they said, well, what's up with you? And I'm like, man, for the first time in my life, I don't see an opportunity. And my mom was like,
Ooh, that's a powerful story. Right
you know
there.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
No. Yeah.
No, I see.
It's
I
scary.
hear it. No,
It's scary, dude.
Yeah.
And my wife, she was like, are you okay? She's texting, are you okay? I'm like, I am, but I'm not, because I've never been like this in my life. I mean, I've always been an opportunist, and there's always been something going. I've been all hands doing something, money coming in 2-3 different ways. But for the past month or two, dude, man, I've been like, it's dry. And I'm like, and my mom was like, man. So she was like, well, get out there and find something. I'm like, I am.
It ain't like it used to be, though.
It ain't like it used to be, dude. I mean, opportunities used to come at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, Dave, I got, I want to show you something. And this, I'm like, okay, well, let me look at it, okay. A couple of $1,000 here, a couple of thousand, it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
Now, dude, it's like being in the desert. That's a scary feeling, so.
But we got the water.